All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a video on striving not with a mighty man, and how you should use wisdom in the world, and how the Bible teaches us wisdom. And what I've found, or what I stumbled upon here, is this video here of the boxer Anthony Joshua putting some people in their place, man. All right, because they was running their mouths, right, and talking towards a man and trying to mock him, right. So then he used his skill that he had to embarrass them. So they started off trying to embarrass him, and then it ended up backfiring, and then they ended up embarrassed. And I'm just gonna play this.
Start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni. You know you don't like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that. Remember you're running your mouth. When I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass straws, none of you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni. You know you don't like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that. Remember you're running your mouth, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass straws, none of you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni. You know you don't like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that.
Now, what you saw there was the guys getting put in their place, man. And the Bible tells you about how many men have fell by the tongue. And now what I did is I looked up Anthony Joshua on the internet, right? And it shows people's heights and stuff like that when you just look people up on Google sometimes, right? So it says that the height of Anthony Joshua is almost 2 meters tall. So it's 1.98 meters, right? And the height that this world treats a man where he's considered tall in this world is generally around 6 foot, right? And 6 foot is around like 182 to maybe 185 centimeters, makes a man be 6 foot, right? So he's significantly taller than that. I think he's around like 6'6", right? And he's 109 kilograms, which is around like maybe 17, 18 stone, right? So what were these people thinking of running their mouth and just like trying to embarrass a person and talking to them in a reckless way, man? And let me get this. This is Sirach chapter 7 and verse 11. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth, right? So you're not supposed to mock a man and make him feel like he's a piece of garbage in the world, because Yahweh can humble you and Yahweh can exalt them, right? And Esau always has a field day trying to mock people and laugh at them, man, right? That's what Esau loves to do. He loves to mock people and try and make them feel like they're a piece of garbage. And these Edomites are obviously trying to treat like Tyson Fury as if he's an Edomite, but really he's not anyway. Because when have you ever seen any Edomites, right? Any just normal, straight up so-called white people being able to beat up Israelites in a boxing match? Never. That's never happened on earth. The people that normally always manage to give Israelites a fair run for their money in boxing is Mexicans who are Israelites. And then whenever it is a Caucasian person, it's normally always Irish, which is what Tyson Fury is. But then you've got people that get carried away and think that that somehow means that they can start running their mouth and talking reckless. And let me read this again. Sirach chapter 7 and verse 11. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth. And this isn't really a video of me trying to give Edomites advice. Forget them. To hell with Esau, man. This is a lesson for us to take account of. Because if we see a guy that's like 6'5", right, and he's a mighty man, we ain't supposed to be running our mouth to him, right? And trying to test the waters and see if we can get away and get carried away with saying things. Because that's what women do, right? Women are the ones that run their mouth to men that are significantly bigger than them and never think that nothing's going to happen. And that's what this world has did in general. Anyway, people think they can just get away with saying whatever they want to say to people. And to a certain degree, they can. But then there's always that time where it ends up backfiring, man. There's always that time where it ends up backfiring and then they end up looking stupid. Let me get some more scriptures. This is Sirach chapter 8 and verse 1. strive not with a mighty man, lest thou fall into his hands. So this guy, these guys that was running their mouth, right? They almost fell into his hands.
You're running your mouth, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass jaws, and then you will like it.
Yeah, that when he starts cracking glass jaws, and it sounds funny, right? But nothing that he was saying in that statement was false. If he would have hit this guy in his white shirt, more than likely, like after like 30 seconds of him fighting that guy, the guy could just not be alive anymore, right? Quite easily. But this isn't no lesson to try and give Edomites no advice. This is a lesson for us to have advice, man. That the scriptures say, strive not with a mighty man. And this is the reasons why. Here it is, these guys was running their mouth to Anthony Joshua somewhere, right? And then he ran up in their house, right? As you can see on his feet, he took his shoes off. So he took his shoes off, and like, to hell with Esau. I'm gonna say that again, man. To hell with Esau, right? But it was wise of him to not actually do nothing to these devils, because you know there was one of the reasons why these devils run their mouth anyway, is because they're trying to get some money. But he verbally used words and put them in check, man. And none of them could have did nothing. But this is a lesson for us to see why the scriptures say what they say, man. The scriptures are clear. Strive not with a mighty man. Let me read it again. Sirach chapter 8 and verse 1. Strive not with a mighty man, lest thou fall into his hands. So you're supposed to watch your mouth out here, man. You have to watch your mouth, because when things go bad, if you strive with a mighty man, well, if things turn to a carnal nature, you're not going to be able to handle it, man. But then also the mighty man's not supposed to glory in his own might neither, because Yahweh can check him. And Yahweh can make him have something happen to him. But as I just read here, this is Sirach chapter 7 and verse 11. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth. So if a person's going through things, right, you ain't supposed to just mock them and laugh at them, right? And more than likely, Anthony Joshua is probably going through something on this particular day, right? Which is the reason why he acted in this way anyway. Because no matter how rich you are or whatever in this world, you're still an Israelite, man. And you still know that this society is BS. No matter how rich you are, most of the time, the richer you are, the more likely you are to see how much of a BS this world is, man. Because you've been given a behind the scenes to a certain degree on all the bullshit that's going on in this place, man. You've been given a behind the scenes to actually see what's really going on out here. Now, let me go back to this again. This is Sirach chapter 8 and verse 1. Strive not with a mighty man, lest thou fall into his hands. Right? So you ain't supposed to be striving with a mighty man. Because if he decides to turn carnal, you ain't going to be able to have it with him. Right? And you could end up losing your life. And that's why the scriptures say things along the lines of life and death is in the power of the tongue. And many men have fell by the tongue, because people don't watch what they say in the world. Right? The scriptures say, let me get this. This scripture says, a soft answer turns away wrath. This is Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So they stirred up anger in him, right? Verse 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. And they was pouring out foolishness, man. They was running their mouth, right? Calling him a dosser, talking all of this, right? As if they're getting in the ring with him. Right, and they was just thinking it's some he. Watch, we're gonna mock Anthony Joshua, and we're gonna record it. Maybe they probably tried to record it, and we're gonna get some TikTok likes or whatever. But he wasn't having that day. Right, he wasn't having it that day, man. On that particular day, he decided to show them men that they are not who they think they are, man. And yeah, they are, man. People are trying to say, oh, they're 17 or whatever. You're in the UK, you're considered to be allowed to do certain things at 16 years old. Now let me carry on playing. I'm gonna make another point.
You're running your mouth, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass jaws, and then you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni, none of you will like it. Watch your...
Now that woman or that girl or whatever you want to call her, that young woman that you can see sitting down, that's more than likely one of their girlfriends. So he got embarrassed in front of her, man. So now she's gonna forever not respect him, even though it's Anthony Joshua, and you might say, oh, it's Anthony Joshua. What could he possibly do? Right? So lucky, I just paused a second because I'm outside and I can see a delivery driver doing lunges, going back up to his car. It's a bit random, but I guess you gotta get the exercise in wherever you can. But that was just a bit random, Salakia. But yeah, this woman is more than likely not gonna respect him anymore now, and more than likely she's probably attracted to Anthony Joshua. But he because this guy didn't know how to rule his tongue, he ended up getting embarrassed, man. And she's gonna remember that. And that's why you're supposed to watch your mouth, because if it would have been, let's say this guy gets used to just running his mouth to men in general that are bigger than him and mightier than him, and decides to just run his mouth outside one day to another man that's bigger than him, right? And that guy decides to just run in his house like how he was able to run in his house. You see what I mean? Or into his university flat or whatever you want to call it. It could have gone bad. And that's why the scriptures tell us as Israelites to watch our mouth, to hold our tongue, because of things like this. This is Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1 again. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So you ain't supposed to just be running your mouth, blabbering off at people. And that's why we're supposed to use the scriptures, right? The scriptures is sharper than any two-edged sword anyway, right? And that's why the apostles tell us not to use as much of our own words and to use the scriptures. This is Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the divide and sunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So if you want to really know what someone's about, we don't even need to be raising our hands or clenching our fists, getting into no stance. We can just use the scriptures. And that's going to instantly reveal what's going on in a man's mind. It's going to instantly reveal what the thoughts of a man is, right? It's going to reveal whether he's for the truth or against the truth. Let me get another scripture. This is Sirach chapter 8 and verse 12, which is another thing of wisdom. It says, lend not unto him that is mightier than thyself, for if thou lendest him, count it but lost. So you're not supposed to just, if there's like a crazy carnal guy, right? And people have experienced this in the world, man. I've experienced this before, where you like someone asks you to borrow something, and they might be tougher than you or whatever, right? And you borrow it to them, and then when you go to ask them back for it, they ain't trying to give you that back, man. They ain't trying to give you that back. It's gone. And that's what the scriptures say. So that's that. In fact, you know what? That's that whole Friday movie, Debo, right? Debo, when he took the bike, he said he borrowed him the bike. When he came back to get the bike back, he got uppercutted about a couple of feet into the sky, right? And then you got the whole famous line from Chris Tucker, "You got knocked the F out," and all of that whole meme thing that's came about, which is just a movie, but it's a real life scenario that can happen, and that does happen. But the scriptures tell us not to do that. Here's another scripture. Sirach chapter 8 and verse 15. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee, for he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. So a guy that likes running his mouth like this cat here,
when your jaws start breaking,
a guy that likes running his mouth like this guy, when you're out with him, right, or any guy like this guy, anyone that likes to run their mouth and just bold and brash, right, and don't know how to read a scenario on how to be like, this isn't the time to get carnal, right? If you're walking around with that guy, he's going to get you into fights, man. Now, there's people that are brash and stuff like that, but when they are able to read scenarios and know when to fight and when not to fight, man. An example of that is King David. King David was a high-level, mighty man of war, but there was times in the Bible where he fled, right? There was times in the Bible where he knew that it was wise to run away. There was times in the Bible where he knew to like play like he was crazy, foaming at the mouth. He like foamed at the mouth and was like making himself seem like he's crazy, right? But then there was also times when he knew, I'm not having this. When he slayed Goliath, he knew how to abound and to abase. He knew how to take the high road and to take the low road. He understood this. But guys like this, they don't understand that. And if you see that there's a person that's like this, the scriptures say don't roll with them, man. Because every single time they're gonna always be into something, man. There's a time for it and there's a time not for it, as the scriptures say.
Chasing you out of this uni, you know you don't like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that. Remember you're running them up, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass straws, none of you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni, you know you don't like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that.
You see, like you have to know how to watch your mouth, man. Right? Sirach chapter 8 and verse 16. Strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place, for blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. So if there's a guy that's super carnal, right, and you always hear about, oh, this guy did this guy beat that person up, this guy beat this person up, you ain't supposed to just be going around by this person like in some secluded area, because he might just be about to make your spirit go back up to Yahweh. And that's why we're supposed to read the scripture, because it gives us knowledge on how to handle certain situations, man. And since I've got these two scriptures here highlighted as well, I may as well read these. It says, "Do no secret thing before a stranger, for thou knowest not what he will bring forth." So there's certain people that you can be there's certain people that you can be like I don't know what the word of, like, vulnerable to, man. Right? That you can like tell certain things about yourself, right? That you can say certain things, right? But then there's other people that you should never do that to, because they're gonna bring it out against you later on down the line and try and embarrass your ass, man. They're gonna try and bring out your secrets and try and embarrass you in front of everybody. So the scriptures are tell you how to handle and maneuver against certain situations like this. Verse 19, "Open not thy heart to every man, lest he requite thee with a shrewd turn." So you ain't supposed to be telling everyone your thoughts, you know? You ain't supposed to just be telling everybody everything that you think, everything, all of your ways. You ain't supposed to just be spewing out your whole heart to certain people, because certain people don't understand how to maneuver, man. Certain people don't understand that you're not supposed to be a talebearer, right? And let me get a scripture on this, in fact. Let me find this scripture. There's a scripture that says, "He that revealeth secrets," or something along these lines. Let me see if I can find this scripture. Let me search secret. Let's see if I can find it. It says something. Here we go. "Whoso discovereth secrets loseth his credit." So we're not supposed. If you're a person that gets secrets revealed to them about someone's life, right? If they're in a moment of vulnerability in a spirit or whatever, you ain't supposed to just be bunning them out and revealing everything that they told you. Hold it to yourself, man. That's what a man does. Women are talebearer. Women like to do that whole talebearer thing and run around chatting everybody else's business, right? But how a man of the Lord is supposed to handle things, he's supposed to keep it to himself forever, right? Forever he's supposed to keep it to himself. Verse 17, "Love thy friend and be faithful unto him, but if thou betrayest his secrets, follow no more after him." So you ain't supposed to, like, once you've betrayed a man's secrets that he's told you in private, and some people will say, "Oh, but what about if the person didn't tell you something private?" That's where you have to use wisdom, because there's some things that are clearly embarrassing that somebody could tell you, right? And you're not supposed to just be telling everybody your business, man. You know, and you're not supposed to even, if the scriptures say, don't tell everybody your business, right? Don't tell everybody your own secrets. Then it's obvious that you're not supposed to be telling everybody else's secrets, right? That's obvious. Now let me go back to Sirach 8 again, and I just want to see what it says. I want to make another point. This is Sirach chapter 8 and verse 19. "Open not thine heart to every man, lest he requite thee with a shrewd turn." Verse 18, "Do no secret thing before a stranger, for thou knowest not what he will bring forth." So there's certain people in the world that might try and test the waters on certain things that we do, right, and see what we're about. We're trying to be slick, right? But we're not supposed to just be revealing the secrets of how we do certain things to them, because it's none of their business, right? And because they're going to try and use it against us later on. They're going to try and use that against us to try and condemn us in the future. Let me go back to this. I'm going to read it again from the top. This is Sirach. Lucky, 1 second. This is Sirach chapter 27 and verse 16. Whoso discovereth secrets loseth his credit and shall never find a friend to his mind. So there's certain people that always like, certain times if there's people that are like digging into people's private lives too much, right? Like obviously people have information about themselves that might be public on the internet, right? But if you're digging into somebody's private life and going into things that are not necessary to even for other people to even know, right? Like I remember there was a time where some of these demons like tried to find out what one of the apostles' women looked like, right? And then they was like making comments on what the one of the apostles' women looked like, right? And then they was trying to mock what the woman looked like or whatever. But that's none of their business. What another man's woman looks like anyway. It's none of their damn business, man. Right? And then if the woman would have been attractive, what would you have said then? Would you have been lusting after her in your heart? And that's what I mean with some people. You have to watch your mouth, man. You have to watch your mouth. This is Sirach chapter 27 and verse 16. Whoso discovereth secrets loseth his credit and shall never find a friend to his mind, because people that are always talebearing and bunning out everybody else, telling everybody else's secrets all the time, you'll notice that they do it to everyone. So they'll be telling you somebody else's secret life, right? But then you have to consider, well, if they're telling everybody else's business, anything that I tell them, then more than likely they're going to tell that person about my life too. Verse 17, love thy friend and be faithful unto him, but if thou betrayest his secrets, follow no more after him. For as a man hath destroyed his enemy, so hast thou lost the love of thy neighbor. As one that letteth a bird go out of his hand, so hast thou let thy neighbor go, and shalt not get him again. Right? So we're not supposed to be like that, man. We're supposed to hold these things in and keep it to ourselves. You're not supposed to like we're trying to be Israelites and we're trying to be righteous, but we're not perfect. So there will be a thing that a person can look at another person and see, and it might seem funny or whatever. You might see the man's folly. You might even get access in the behind the scenes of what some of these man's sins are, or what some of the ill things that happen in this man's mind are, right? But if you find that out yourself, you're not supposed to just take it and run with it and start using that to mock this guy to everybody else, because Yahweh could then reveal your things that you've got going on with you. And this goes for me that I'm not supposed to do it, and goes for everybody else that they're not supposed to do it as well. And that's why the scriptures say this. Let me go back to it again. Sirach chapter 7, like there's always a lesson to be brought out regarding everything in the world. Sirach chapter 7 and verse 11, laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one who humbleth and exalteth. So if someone tries to laugh and mock another man, right, and then hoping that just like makes him be dropped down and be crumbled, Yahweh could exalt him and then humble you. And that's what Esau is going to receive, because Esau has tried to bun us down and keep us low, but Yahweh is going to exalt us and bring them low. This is Sirach chapter 50 and verse, I'm just going to jump straight to the point. Sirach chapter 50 and verse 20, thou sittest and speak against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. And that's what Esau does. He's always spreading lies about us as a nation. He's the one that's mainly spread the most lies about us as a whole, as a nation as a whole, man. And that's why the majority of the world hates us, because there's certain places in the world where there isn't even no so-called black people or no Mexicans or no Native Americans, yet the people there hate us. How or why? We ain't did nothing to them. They hate us because of the rumors and the lies that Esau's spreading about us, and the way how they portray us in the media. which I'm not going to say that none of these things ain't true. None of the ways that they portray us ain't true. But they always use the worst people from our nation to try and make out like that's the whole of the nation. Verse 21, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So Yahweh's going to humble Esau and bring us up. He's going to bring them low and raise us up, man. That's what he's going to do. Now let me go and play this video again, man, because it's a very clear sign of why the scriptures say to watch your mouth.
You don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that. Remember you're running them up, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass jaws, none of you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni, none of you will like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that.
Exactly. They're supposed to maneuver in a wise way, and to go at a level even higher than this, right? How if the police try and bother us, right? We're supposed to be wise regarding that, because the police have got power to kill, man. And the scriptures say, strive not with thine enemy, right? This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. So if the police stops you at any point, don't start raising up and getting loud like you see Jakes do all the time. Even if they put you in the handcuffs and you're arrested unlawfully or whatever, right? Don't start getting all carnal, because that's what they're looking for you to do, and then they're just gonna kill you, and then they're just gonna say, well, he was resisting arrest, or they're just gonna say that you assaulted him and then get you arrested. That's what Esau does. He's a demon. We know this. And even Anthony Joshua shouldn't have fell for this trick, because really, to a certain degree, they wanted him to do something. They wanted him to, so that they could get some money. But they still got put in their place, but they wanted him to do it. And I'm making this video for Israelites, so that we can understand that we're supposed to be wise regarding how we maneuver through the world. We're not supposed to just be striving with people that are stronger physically than us. We're supposed to be wise, man. We're supposed to use wisdom. The wisdom that the scriptures tell us to have. The scriptures tell us about certain wisdoms that we're supposed to have, man. Now let me go to some more. And the reason why the scriptures tell us to do certain things is because if we do certain things anyway, none of our enemies can come up against us anyway, man, because Yahweh is in control of everybody. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 7, and I'll end the lesson here. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Right? When a man's ways please Yahweh, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. So if we're doing the right things according to the scriptures, then none of these Edomites or none of these people can do nothing against us anyway, and none of these mighty men can even do nothing against us. Yahweh will cause for something to happen to where they end up crumbling. Like I remember when there was this guy that was talking about he's going to run up on a particular camp or whatever, right? He said he's going to run up on him. He said, you don't know who you're talking to, you don't know who you're messing with, and all of this. And he was like, meant to be some like Black Panthers or something like that, right? He's saying all this, oh, you don't know who you're talking to and all that. You don't know who you're messing with, right? But then when he so okay, 1 second. I just saw something in a fox in the background. So like, what he said that he was talking all this and acting all carnal, right? But then when he ended up getting arrested, right? He ended up getting arrested by some police officers and was all hemmed up on the wall, right? But he was talking like he was a tough guy to the Hebrew Israelites. But then when he got all hemmed up on the wall by the police officers, he wasn't saying none of that then. And Yahweh did that to show him that you're not nowhere near as tough as you think you are. And I remember that, and it's still actually on YouTube right now, in fact, that video. But I'm gonna end the lesson there anyway. All praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. by Shamakar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.